Hello, everyone. Hey. No intro music today, right? Okay, so it's 7 o'clock, it's Sunday evening, and it's time to connect. All right, so I'm waiting on everybody to join us. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, right? So as soon as folks come in, to all those that are watching the video, the replays later, hi, you're the first to the party. Welcome. It's another Sunday evening in my neck of the wood, Nigeria, wherever it is that you're joining us from our regulars in Canada, our regulars in the UK, and of course Houston, Texas, our regulars. I want to say massive welcome to you. All right, for the people that will be joining us live, please do let me know where you're joining us from as you come in. Do let me know. We're going to be starting 7 o'clock, and I can't wait to get into this episode. So wherever it is that you are, I'm checking out my dashboard, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Facebook people, where you are, I can see a few people on LinkedIn already. I can see some people on YouTube, Facebook. I'm waiting on you, and then we'll get this conversation on the way. First of all, let me say massive thank you to everyone. Um, Wherever it is that you're joining us from, thank you very much. It's a great day to be alive, and I'm certainly thankful. It's the last day of the month of July. Wow, 2022. How fast has this year gone? I was going to say how fast has this month gone, but even more than that, how fast has this year gone? So if you're joining us, please do send me a message. Let me know where it is that you're joining. I'm waiting for my chat feed. All right, I'm waiting for my chat feed to get buzzing. Send me a message. Let me know where you're joining from. Say hi so that I can recognize that you are here. All right, it's a super Sunday evening. Quite a lot happening across the world, and special interest in the nation Nigeria, where I reside, live, and work. Interesting times. I remember someone sending me a message and say, "Oh, we should have an episode about politics. We should have an episode where we come to discuss politics," and quite a bit of pressure on me from that. In due time, again, this is a virtual fireside chat, and we basically just have conversations that matter. All right, so that's what makes it. It's 100% authentic, 100% feel good, and 100% impactful. And this is because we speak to things that are relevant, things that affect us in diverse areas of our lives. And this is why we've had this show running for 2 years. As a matter of fact, guess what, guys? This is the final episode of the second year. Yep. This is the final episode of the second year. The next episode will be at the beginning of the third, if you like, season three, the third year running of the Connect. So we'll begin the third year. This episode on July the 31st marks the end of 2 years of live streaming of the Connect. Wow, it's amazing. And I'm so immensely grateful, for everybody that has joined in for the I did the numbers, over 178 guests. 179 actually. 179 guests in 2 years. And I'm wondering, where did I get all these people from? How did I connect with all these people? And so amazing. So I'm really super glad to be here. Do send me a message. Let me know you're here. Wave at me. Send me a message. Tell me where you're joining from. And we'll get the show on the way. So I have a super guest today, and I'm going to be bringing him into the studio very soon. He's already in the waiting room, came in a few minutes before we started. As is custom with him, he's obviously no stranger to this platform. He's no stranger to the Connect family. In many regards, I mean, he's been a part of the Connect, not just once or twice. So he's been a part of Connect a few times, and those episodes were remarkable episodes that people do remember, and a lot of people talk about him. He's someone that I've known for many years, and again, it's interesting because it's a real honor to see how people have evolved over time, and how people have grown over time, and how people have changed, how people have just gotten really good at the things that they do. So he's someone that I'm immensely proud of, and you will understand why for those of you that are just getting to know him for the first time. So he's the author. He's a serial author, and for many reasons, he just deems it. He always just honors. He had me, have a look at his book before it goes to print, or before it goes into circulation, or hello, Vianney. Hi, Chiamaka, Joseph Morgan. Hi, Chiamaka. How you doing? Okay, so he's a serial author. He's a startup specialist. He's a great pitch. He just understands the rudiments of starting nursing businesses, startups, what it takes. He's one that has won several awards over time. I did not want to go into the clinical reading of his profile because I wanted an unveiling as we go along. So just stick with us. Share this video right now to as many people as you can. Get them to jump in on this. If you run a business, you have a business, or you're looking for customers for your business, or you're looking for investors. That's why we themed this episode, which is the final episode of the second year of Connect. Are you even investor ready? All right. So now, amongst the varied books and many books that he has written, one of the his most recent book, I think it came out in either February or March this year. His most recent book is something I find really intriguing, and it just literally formed the heart of this conversation today. It's called How to Attract Customers and Investors Like a Magnet. I'm going to say that again. How to attract customers and vendors and investors like a magnet. So you obviously know that if you're running a business, or you have an organization, or you're in the whatever it is that you're doing, you need customers. You need to be able to get customers. Customers acquisition is critical to the sustenance and the growth of your business. All right, growth of your business. And much more than that, just customers, you also need a platform on which your business can be solid. You need investors, you need all forms of capital to ensure that you can do the things you ought to do, to ensure that you can build systems that you ought to build, and much more than that, to ensure that your business is sustainable. And many much of this we're going to be discussing today. I'm in a hurry to bring him into the studio. It's 8 minutes past the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to remember now for how many X number of times to the Connect. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ebi Ofrey. Ducky.
Very important episode. Final so
yeah.
We're already on year 2.
I'm telling you. And this is like a lesson to anyone. Just start. Once you start, as you go along the way. Because if I looked, maybe I was just saying earlier on before I brought into the studio, I've had 179 guests.
Yeah.
179 guests from August, the first Sunday in August 2020 to today. And I'm not counting people twice. Yeah. So you are one for all the times that you've come. I count you as one. 179.
It all is coming to the fact that you have a lot of people in that are willing to drop what they're doing to come on this platform.
Yeah, true that. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of them, inclusive of you. Absolutely grateful for all of that. So let's get into it. Now, funny enough, coincidentally, the last couple of times that you've come on, you've always come on the last Sunday of the month. And I don't know how that plays out. Not like we planned it. We just have a conversation but it's always been the last Sunday of the month. And the last Sunday of the month is when I run What Are You Thankful For? So I'm going to ask you the same question I started off asking last time. Ebi Ofrey, what are you thankful for?
So interestingly, my mom's 70th birthday. I don't know I just heard that yesterday. So that's something I'm extremely thankful for, still having her here at this age, especially because of what I do and the kind of need. So just a nutshell, I run a company that cares for the elderly. I understand what can happen if nothing is done. So just having them here at this point in time, hale and hearty, is something grateful and thankful for.
Amazing, true, and happy birthday to her. I think I did see a picture on Facebook or something, but happy birthday to your mom. 70 is such a phenomenal milestone, and we're really just glad and grateful to God that God has been able to preserve her even until this time, and for many more years even to come. So happy, happy, happy! Congratulations to the entirety of you and the family. We have a comment from Chairman says, "Welcome, Sir Ebi. Ebi, you have been knighted. You have been knighted. It's great to have you here tonight." All right, awesome, awesome. So let's get straight into it. Ebi released a book earlier in the year. All right, and it's a phenomenal book. When I saw the title, I mean, one of the early books I remember that Ebi wrote that was honored to pen down or forward, and it was how to be a God kind of millionaire. And you guys, you need to be able to get to these books, because sometimes when you go back to these, we get these books, we read them once, twice, and then it's just so important for us to be able to, get on. Am I still on?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. So it's just important, So I remember the God kind of millionaire and being a God kind of millionaire, and it was an interesting title for a book, a very catchy title, and the content wasn't disappointing. The content wasn't a letdown. In fact, the title didn't even do justice to the content. So now, through many other books, and these books come under the platform, if I'm right, of the Ebi Ofrey Business Advisory, right? The Business Advisory series, exactly. Now, scaling through the myriad of books that have come out of your portfolio, we've come to this one that was released a bit earlier this year, and it's called Attracting Customers and Investors like Magnets. Attracting customers and investors like magnets. And I know there's a whole story to it because it's a reflection. Literally, one of the things I admire about you, Ebi, is that you simply just tell your story. I mean, you just tell your story. You said to me once that, look, whenever it is that you have to talk on something, many times you just talk about yourself. And that's the authenticity, that I really love and that we really appreciate. Tell me what brought about that book before we go into the nitty-gritty of our conversation today, Dr. Ebi.
Okay. So you mentioned I've written quite a few books. And six of the book and the I testament to my evolution. Because the point of the book at each point in time is basically what I'm going through and the things I'm doing at that point in time. I was speaking to some people recently, and I said I've always known I was a teacher, I was a speaker, but never really known my core audience. And it seems in my later years, I've gotten to find out that was the people I am. So I practice and hone my skill the audiences, but I actually say it to ensure I got to where I am now. And so my core audience now are top founders to enable them build the right businesses and scale the right way. And that's also why I together the book. Because when I launched healthcare, I thought I was a businessman. I thought I knew what I was in. But I realized in the startup space, things are very different. It's sort of South Pole and North Pole. Whatever you would do in orthodox business is the opposite you are supposed to do in the startup. So once I came into the startup world, I learned so many things by trial and error and decided the founders coming up shouldn't go to the same company. And I sort of gave them a cheat sheet with this book. So any founder that takes hold of this book, lived for like 5 years, to where they are going to be from the beginning. In my book, Becoming a Mentor, I said something about mentors. A mentor is where you want to be and is willing to hold your hand to take you there. And so you are starting on the ceiling of the mentor. So the floor is the ceiling of the mentor. So this book is my ceiling at this point in time. So as they're coming to be right now, you are starting from where I am at this point in time. And that is the knowledge that is in the book. You realize that when people hear investment, they want to get money out there. There is money out there, but people are not able to position themselves right. So there's a lack of money, there's a lack of ideas. So I'll stop there. That was the reason behind the book, to ensure founders coming up make the right choices and don't make mistakes I made starting my business. So you start with the book, you are far ahead of 90% of all founders in the country.
Okay, hold on, Ebi. I'm having some feedback. To a couple of people have said that they can't hear you too clearly. I need everyone to.
I switch network again.
Please, if you can hear me, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, awesome. Right, I'm still getting some feedback that you're Dr. Ebi is breaking. Okay, so perhaps we'll see Dr. Ebi is breaking. I'm saying we can't hear him clearly, please. Okay, so perhaps we should do a network switch and then you'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to take Dr. Ebi out of the studio so that he can perhaps just switch network and do it. So having an amazing time. Started off the conversation just now talking to Dr. Ebi Ofrey, and we're having a conversation about attracting customers and investors like a magnet, which led to, snowballed into the episode we're having today, which is tagged, Are You Even Investor Ready? And part of the things that Dr. Ebi had already started saying was that every book they has written, and they're all interesting books. We talk a bit about the books in the course of the episode today. Have been from the place of his present experience as at that time, his current experience as at that time. And so he realized that there was a need for him to share necessary information. And I have my thoughts about that. And hopefully I will also share, on that, so that there was a need for him to share necessary information with people. He understood a gifting that he had. He understood certain potentials that were available to him. But according to him, he didn't quite know or have a very lucid picture or a very clear picture of who his audience was. And that's very critical, guys. I need you to take attention that you may have the right gift, but you have to find out who that gift is meant for. Every solution is meant for somebody that has a problem that requires that solution. If you have a solution, all right, and you can't find who knows or who requires that solution, then you struggle with placing value on the solution that you have. You struggle with the use or the utilization or the benefits, or anybody benefiting from that solution. Because yes, you may have a solution, you may be wired for a certain experience, but you've got to be able to find the right audience, okay? You have to be able to find the right audience that is rightly positioned to receive that which you have. I have Dr. Ebi back. I'm going to be bringing him in the studio. I can see that his signals are way more stronger now. And so, yes, we have Dr. Ebi back with us. So, Doctor, I was trying to do a recap of what you had said initially. I mean, I can't say the way that you say it. I'm learning, all right, but I tried to just do some justice to just do a recap to a bit of what you were saying. But something interesting that you said in the course of your first submission, which I want to take you back to, you said that you discovered that the things that you do in an orthodox business are a complete opposite of
Yeah.
what you get to do in a startup. Could you please, let's speak a bit about that. I'm trying to understand. Really, I thought one maybe would be just a little bit more of it, but when you say complete opposite,
Opposites.
let's talk.
Let me use this example. So first, the difference between a startup and a business is not just the fact that you are starting the business, but the fact that you are going into an area of extreme uncertainty.
Mm,
So, for instance, you launch a hotel. Even if it's the first day of the hotel, that hotel is still not considered a startup. A startup is not when you start, it's the fact that you are in an industry that is unproven, in a product that nobody knows about. That's what makes you a startup. So you can have
mm.
startups in existing businesses because the
Oh,
model has not been proven. And so many times, what we do in orthodox businesses is you pick a model and you stick to it. But in a startup, you are not even sure what the model is. So, as one of my mentors says, don't be stubborn about your model until it's working. Because when you are
mm.
starting, the model you start with will definitely not be the model 1 year from then. Because most of the time, when you understand the business, understand the users, that's when you get what they call product market fit. It may not be the first year, or you may be fortunate it's the first year, but it may not be the first year or second year. But when you hit that product market fit, you have now got to the point where you can begin to scale. And when you get to the point where your business is no longer uncertain, other people can jump into that same business and succeed, then you're now an orthodox business. So in the beginning, you are not held bound to any model. You're not held bound to any payment structure. You're just trying out everything else, similar to what they call the agile structure. For instance, the lean methodology means you try, you listen to customers, you tweak, you change, you constantly iterate. That's what you do a startup. You don't fix your gaze on one model and try and find how it works. No, the customers will tell you what they want. So, for instance, if you launch a hotel, you know the things to do for a hotel to succeed. It's not rocket science, it's already been proven. But in a startup, everything you do is new and everything you do needs to be measured. So, you put in a product, you test the market, you hear the feedback, you go back and change it. But before I enter the startup world, you will realize you will sit down, you'll craft a business plan, and then you go into business. But that's not the way with startups. When we in the startup industry, most times now we don't have business plans. We have what they call investor decks or
Yeah.
business model canvas. You don't write long business plans again because that thing is just a fallacy. Nothing there ever works. You make a plan, detailed plan, 50 pages, and all that's a waste of time. So now you have an investment deck, you have a business model canvas, simple short things that can quickly be changed and iterated. So when I got into this space, I realized that I was far from what I knew. Again, before I came in, I thought I was a businessman. I had a
Yeah.
master's in business for which I graduated with a distinction. I was doing consultancy in business. But the moment I entered the startup world, I knew I was a neophyte. I had to learn afresh everything I'm doing.
Okay, so Dr. Ebi, here's the thing, right? Just so that I don't assume everybody knows, what you do and what this startup that you co-founded is. I want you to talk a bit about Gero Care so that they can have an idea, because they'll just be like, okay, what is that your startup, so that everyone that is live right now and those that will join us in the week as we usually have will be able to tie the things you're saying to this baby that you have in your hand, Dr. Ebi.
Okay. So it's really not what I do, but it's the problem I solve.
I
And
like
the
that.
problem we're solving is the fact that in developing countries, 75% of people will lose one or both their parents to either untimely deaths or have them severely incapacitated by conditions that could otherwise have been prevented. And many times when you hear this, it sounds just like a statistic until you have a personal experience like I did.
Mm.
So a few years ago, in the space of 1 year, my father had 2 strokes. Not because there's nothing I could have done, I was simply living and working far from where he was. And subsequently, my mother called me, told me her blood pressure was high, her blood sugar was high. But there's something she said that jolted me. She said I had neglected them. And I
Hmm.
thought that was impossible. How could I neglect my parents? But after critically analyzing my life, I discovered that while focused on business and my career, I had truly neglected these people. We then realized that the problem is not peculiar to me and that there are millions of people living and working far away from where their parents are. And the only time they hear anything most times is when something goes wrong. And so the question was, is there a way whereby no matter where you are in the world, you can ensure your parents' healthcare needs are met and constantly remind them that you care? And so my partner and I made it our mission to solve that problem and launch GeroCare. So GeroCare simply makes it extremely easy for Nigerians wherever they are in the world to subscribe to regular doctor home visits and home medical care for their parents in any city in Nigeria using the GeroCare mobile application. So they simply download the app, input their parents' details, and make a payment. Immediately, their parents are matched to a doctor who stays nearby, who begins to visit these parents at home at least once a month and give us the children real-time feedback wherever we are. So we're able to do this because we have created a cloud-based hospital structure that replicates the entire experience of a clinic in the patient's home. From doctor home visits to tests at home to drugs at home and even complementary services like caregivers and physiotherapists. Because what we noticed was that when you go to a hospital, the only person you see is the doctor. You don't see the lab scientist or the pharmacist. And so you don't have to be in the same building with them. And so what we did was make your home the consulting room, and the doctor appears connected to everybody else you need. So you receive the same care you'll have received in a clinic, just that it's taking place in your home. The main difference being he doesn't write a prescription for you. He makes a request on his app. It goes to our pharmacy network who delivers to you at home. Same for lab tests. So it's not a substandard care because it's at home. It's actually the same care being paid for by your children wherever they are in the world. And that's exactly what we do. We're solving a problem that really needs to be solved using a solution that's tailor-made for us.
Okay, so I'm interesting question I have for you, right, before you go on. How many people told you it was a crazy idea and it won't work? I really want to know that.
Again, there are snippets of how to identify a problem in the book, but one key way I propose to people is that if you had experienced the problem yourself and you actually looked for a solution you could not find, and you propose that solution, nobody can tell you it's a crazy idea or anything like that, because you experienced it and you knew it very badly. You knew if this thing was there, what happened would not have happened. For instance, if GeroCare was there, my father would still be in a much better condition than he is now. And we made it our mission to ensure everybody else doesn't have to experience these things. And many times, like many things in medicine, most of the time, the person doesn't think he needs it as much as you are saying. But like medicine, when you hold a child and you're giving him injections, the child is fighting with you. He doesn't know why you are doing that. But you as the parent know why you are forcing it down his throat. If anybody had told me it's a crazy idea, I have experienced the problem. So you can't tell me that. And I'll force it down because I know what will happen if I don't do it. So it's the conviction in the idea. Although nobody said it's too crazy, but I didn't even listen to that. I knew this is a problem. If I don't do this, a lot more people would die. And that's why I went into it.
And a lot of people are dying. I mean, I can actually even say to everybody, I was just having a personal disease. I was just having a conversation with Dr. Ebi as well. My father had the surgery. My own dad had the surgery. And Ebi and I are talking right now because I'm not close to him. My brother literally had to travel to be with him over the weekend. And there are things that we need to put in place, which will ensure that he still gets a level of care, even though we're not physically there, and we can come in and go out, but then there has to be something that's available for him to be able to access care all through, and I felt it was pretty important. Now, having said that, let's go a bit further. So now you've written the book. Dr. Ebi said, okay, you were frozen for a bit. Now you've written this book, and beyond this startup that you have, we talked about the startup, but we just got done talking about the startup. Beyond the startup, obviously, brilliant as your idea is, obviously fantastic as your idea is, there was a need for you to have investors. There was a need for you to have the right threshold of clients that will ensure that the business is sustainable and therefore positioned to grow. Now, this book speaks about attracting customers and investors like a magnet. So it is not even saying just attract small. It's not like a magnet, meaning that if you are within a sphere, you're attracted to it. So let's talk a bit about that and get into the nitty-gritty of the book.
Okay. So first, we need to understand that investors only invest in things that have shown some level of success. Like I was saying in the previous session with somebody else, people don't invest in ideas, they invest in execution and implementation. And the
Mm,
only evidence that you are succeeding is that people are already paying for the product. And so the
mm,
surefire way to get investment is to ensure you already have the customers that are paying you and you can show adequate traction. And so to attract investors, you first need to attract customers. And to attract customers, you need to have enough value for them. And to have value for them, we broke it down to 4 key things. So they must
right.
need what you are selling. It must be available in a limited quantity. When I say limited quantity, it must be. So I'm a blue ocean practitioner also. And so we focus on doing what we call creating uncontested markets and making the competition irrelevant. So the less of supply of your products, the more valuable it is to the customer. So first,
Mm,
you've identified the problem. Two, you make sure that you are the only one doing it in the way you are doing it.
mm,
Three, you must ensure the product does what it says it will do. You must ensure the quality of the experience they go through in getting the products. And you must ensure the management team is a quality management team. And then
okay.
finally, I feel is one of the most important is quantity. Even if you have the demand, you have the supply, you have the quality, but you don't get people in enough quantity to make money, you will not be as successful as you need to be as successful at or successful in. So the bedrock for me for the book was a law I call the law of income. I think I learned it when I was doing my master's in Malaysia, which says
Mm,
you will be paid in direct proportion to the amount of value you deliver according to the marketplace. You will be paid in direct proportion to the amount of value you deliver according to the marketplace. So those are the
mm,
key words. You will be paid, meaning there must be an exchange of goods and services for what you will get. In
yeah,
direct proportion to the value, meaning there must be value, and the more value you provide, the more money you make
yeah.
to the amount of value you deliver. So you might have value and not deliver it. So first of all these key things must be checked according to the marketplace. So the marketplace are those that need your products, can afford your products, and are willing to buy. So these people must see value in what you are doing, and your payment will be proportional to the value they see. Once that is set in place, customers will come, and once customers come, investors will chase after you. Like I mentioned earlier on, there is money out there, but not enough people have positioned themselves the right way. So I think back and remember stories of people saying, my uncle has so much money. I want to start this business. He doesn't want to give me money. He doesn't want to give you money because it's people like you that will make him lose the money. Because there's no evidence he succeeds. The reason he's rich is because he doesn't give people like you money. For him to give you money, you must show that the business makes sense. So many
Mm.
times, all people that say no one gives me money, prove the business, get some customers. That person will chase you and give you the money.
Okay, so I like the way this is going. So I mean, set up the business, get the business going, get customers, and ensure that you have some measure of footprint. You have a trail, you have traction that you can show. You have something to show that look, these people or this set of people or this person has experienced this. This is the value that they've gained out of it. You've gotten testimonials, you've gotten feedback, you're able to document all of that, and
Yeah.
everything. And then you have what the investors will even have to look at to say, okay, fine, do we even further this conversation with you or not? Or do we just tell you, okay, goodbye? Maybe if they're nice, they tell you, great idea, it's fantastic, but we're just not ready for it. If they don't like you, they just tell you to leave, just go away. So now if we follow that path, right? Let's start from the beginning because I like to break things down. Getting the customers. Now, everybody has that mentality of, people are very wary, and you and I have been in business development for quite a while. People are very wary of what has not been tested, one, what they don't have any sort of feedback on, and many times what they hear other people say apart from you. So it's okay, you will tell me that what you are doing is great. But if they hear someone else say, that stuff is fantastic, they're more inclined because that person is relating an experience. Now, this is why I tell people many times that beyond a service, a product, what you're really doing is giving an experience. And experience is what brings about loyalty, is what brings about an exchange of value, is what brings about everything that endears a client or a customer to you. And then now, you acquire them, and thereafter you have stuff that's retained them. Now, let's look at that process of acquisition with specific reference to GeroCare now. How difficult was it? Because there's always that initial breaking the ice. I'm talking of your very, very first customer that was not family or friend, and you're saying, and somebody says, hey, I can trust these guys. All right, I can trust these guys to handle this. Not because I don't think they have a good idea, but they have a structure in place that can deliver a service. Tell us about that with regards to acquisition.
Yeah. So I'll tell you two stories. One as regards to our B2C model, that's our business to customer model, and one as regards to our enterprise model, which is the business to business model. So for the B2C, what we did was focus on the use of influencers. And when I say influencer, I don't mean BB Ninja star or something. Understanding our structure, what we did was first of all begin by presenting in churches because nobody knew who we are. Or we understood that if we could convince the senior pastor to allow us to speak for 5 minutes after his sermon, people are more likely to trust us based on the trust they had for the pastor. Good. So if the pastor introduces GeroCare, I have some guys over here doing this, blah, 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 nobody doubts us anymore. It's their pastor that said it. So we now had booths outside the church. So once we come in there and present, the idea sounds reasonable. Is a problem they have. We've checked the box of credibility because the pastor introduced us. All of them, people were signing up. And that's how we got our first set of users, by leveraging on this system in place.
Amazing.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. I'm still with you. So, okay. So you use, yeah, go on, Ebi. Ebi, can you hear me?
The network is not being our friend today.
Wow, Ebi, I can hear you clearly. Super clearly. Hey guys, if you can hear Dr. Ebi, please type I can hear Ebi. If you can hear me, please let me know. But I can hear Ebi super clearly. I don't know why Ebi can't hear me.
No, I can hear you. I know you froze for a bit, but you're back.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so that was for the acquisition. I mean, that's a very fantastic moment because I just wanted people knowing that, look, just there has to be creative ways, and there are creative ways by which you can get your first clientele, your first customers. There are creative ways in which you can do. The model that Ebi did is something that when we started health insurance many years ago, it was the same thing because we needed people. I mean, this is how they right in this day and era, you have influencers. Yeah, this was the whole concept of influencers, even as back then. Get somebody that everybody listens to, get him to give some sort of platform or an endorsement, and then not that they will just receive everything that you said, at least you have an opportunity to be heard. So it was so important, guys. Business development is important to be heard. You look for opportunities to be heard. Now, what they hear is another thing, because I'm going to take Dr. Ebi on pitching and all of that. What they hear and how they hear what you have to say is something else entirely. But always find opportunities, all right, that allows you to be heard. You must be heard. The person that has nobody, taking what they have are the people that are either not visible or cannot be heard. So check your visibility and check if people can hear you, all right? So I'm going to go, let's go further. So now that we're done with that, let's now move to, you now have these opportunities, right? platforms were given to you. Quickly, in a minute or two, Ebi, how then was the message delivered? Because I say to people many times that if you have a message to be delivered, then you better pay attention to how that message is to be delivered. I say it again. If you have a message to be delivered, then you had better pay attention to how that message is to be delivered. And I know you've done quite a lot in the area of pitching. We're going to come to investors soon, but this is we're still talking about customers right now. So how was your message delivered?
So if I have time, I'll run through the Beast Vision keynote outline that basically enables you to run through the process quite quickly. But one thing I'll first of all say is that you must ensure when you see the problem you're solving, it doesn't sound like a paper cut. It sounds more like a finger being chopped off. So anybody you're saying it to is ready to listen to the next thing you say. Because if the problem doesn't catch their attention, everything else you say is basically, oh, that's nice. It needs to get them to panic. It needs to be bloody. So remember when I started, I said 75% of Nigerians, it's a big problem. If the problem doesn't catch your attention, everything else doesn't make sense to anybody. So make sure you frame your problem in the best possible light to ensure that anybody listening to you understands that this is a problem. So recently, I've been using what I call the Rhinephone 313 method. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. The method is a method for what they call permission pitching. I started when they say, what do? You mention it's not what you do, it's the problem you solve, and then you keep your mouth shut. When they ask you what problem do you solve, you state your problem in the bloodiest possible way and keep your mouth shut. Because it doesn't catch their attention and they're not willing to hear more, there's no need to continue. So when you state the problem and they hear how it is, how important it is, it's not a paper cut, it's a finger being chopped off. Then they are now ready to hear that solution. Because in Nigeria, for instance, that number I mentioned is before the age of 40, and that's the truth. Look around you. Before the age of 40, they've either lost one or both parents to untimely death or have them severely incapacitated. If you count people, you will notice 1 out of 4 is the same thing. So you begin to think of yourself, if I'm not yet in that position, I will soon get there. And you want to hear the solution. So when you're stating your problem, make your problem clear. 2, you ask when you say your problem, you say your solution, it's important not to run into the how too quickly. That's how you see people at parties explaining all their wants, all their solution, hows, and everything. And the person they're talking to looks like a deer in the headlights trying to escape because they didn't give you permission to go that far. They wanted the tip of the iceberg and you're giving them the whole iceberg. So when you give them the problem, wait, don't say anything. Let them ask, so what's the solution? You state the solution in one sentence and keep quiet. Let them ask, so how do you do it? Then the people are listening to you. Otherwise, just say everything you do and they say, oh, nice one. It's not really an impact to them. Or they're waiting for you to finish so they will tell you their own. Most times people ask you what you do because they want to say what they do. But if you break it down this way, the person gets more invested in what you are saying. So the first key is to make your problem as bloody as possible. Let them see the problem. Let them see that if this thing is not solved, there will be a problem in this world. Then take the next steps. Problem, what everything hinges on.
Can somebody just say, just type for me, make the problem as bloody as possible. Project the problem as bloody as possible. Project the problem. Let me just have that running in the comment section. Project. But before we go on, right? So, no, hold on, Ebi. Before we go on, someone asked a question. I don't want us to lose it. It said, but you had to convince the pastors firstly, right? In other words, did they try out the service before they related it to the members? I mean, just speak on that for a second and then we'll move on.
Okay, so what happened was the key is the person that introduced us to the first pastor was one of our investors. So the pastor allowed us in based on the trust he had. I remember the investor coming back to us and he's telling us that, look, I have vouched for you guys with that pastor. You guys should not do any stupid things because he had put his name on the line. So now it was because of the person that approached the pastor. They had not tested our products, but they know the person that approached them and they trust that person. And so they were able to give us that platform. And then once they gave us the platform, we represented appropriately. Our users now became our advocates going forward. But the first person that spoke to the influencer was somebody that the influencer looked up to and trusted. And so we didn't have to go through too many hoops to be able to get the message into that church.
Interested. Okay, awesome.
Investors and advisors have to be people that can go and vouch for you. Don't just take advisors and investors for no reason. They should be able to open doors for you.
Exactly. You know, I was just going to say that one of the things that I've learned is that you must leverage on relationships, and the way you leverage on relationships is to ride on trust. In other words, you must be able to see there is absolutely no progress, guys. There's no progress without convincing, and you must be able to convince one person, and that person has good enough trust in you. Trust is critical. Is critical. Now, trust is, remember that the entire purchase, there's a science and a methodology, and I learned that in business school. There's a science and methodology to sales. And it has to do many more times at an onset, it has to do with a perception. At a later set, it has to do with a reality. First of all, you make a promise before there's an experience. Guys, note this. This is what Dr. Ebi has just said. You make a promise. Now, somebody has to believe that promise enough to help you put that promise out there. Because you're like God. So what comes out of your mouth in the context of business must not return void. That must not fall to the ground. That means that when you make that promise, you must ensure that your system, your service, and your personnel, Dr. Ebi talked about management team. We'll get to that in a bit. And your personnel must have enough competence and capacity to deliver on that promise. It's absolutely key. So there's the promise and there's the experience. The promise is what your investor or your influencer helps you project because of the, first of all, so the levels of trust. The influencer or the person that projects, in this case, Dr. Ebi's investor, first of all, had enough trust in the capacity of these boys. If you allow me to say so. They have not done this. We have not seen this kind of thing before. They come and sit down in front of us and they're telling us this is possible. But something about him and the way they deliver what they've delivered makes him have trust in them for him to now go out and project. Now, because the person he goes to has trust in him. Can you see what how we're connecting the trust, guys? Because the person he has gone to has trust in him, he's now able to carry. If Dr. Ebi and his team had gone to this guy, they'll probably still be trying to get to have a meeting with him till today. If somebody, right, had not first of all taken this idea based on trust to this pastor, all right, to say they can do massive things, right? This is something that will work for you. This is something that will be beneficial, and this is something that will be valuable. Because people only exchange value for value. Note that. People will always exchange value for value. Your value is tied in the solution that you provide. But there's a whole channel, we call it channelization. There's a channel that ensures that that value gets from the warm terrains of your mind to the reality, from the warmth of your mind to the rough terrains of reality. Are we still here? Can I go further? All right. So what you've heard today, and Dr. Ebi is going to join us back in, I guess, the switching network, so that we can just take this, go further with this. What we've said today now is, once you're able to leverage on relationships and there's trust, and the trust is now connected, the trust must flow. There must always be a trust connection. And so because there's a trust connection, one person trusts you at a level, he carries that trust and transmits that trust. I'm going to have Dr. Ebi come back into the studio now. He carries that trust and transmits that trust. Another person takes that trust and takes it further, and then you're able to have a channel. So guys, don't just say, you know what, this is my investor, treat me anyhow, or this is a stakeholder. Remember, we had a session here when we talked about engaging stakeholders and ensuring, guaranteeing stakeholder satisfaction, right? Now, all this is embedded in that. So the trust factor that Dr. Ebi talked about is extremely critical. Let's get back to Dr. Ebi. Great to have you back. All right. So now, this was your situation. This was your story, and it's really interesting. But then again, even as you now got the customers, there was a need for you to be able to get more funding in. There was a need for you to be able to access grants. There was a need for you to scale up what you were doing. Let's talk about that.
So the key thing as regards to funding was understanding the people you are pitching to. Is first of all to understand the people that are investing in your type of business and the things they look out for. Fortunately, General Care falls into two categories. It can be a social enterprise, or it can be a straightforward investment. The social enterprise people, you talk more about impact. The straightforward investment people, you talk more about return on investment. So based on who you're talking to, you skew your pitch in that direction. So for the impact people, you lean heavy on the SDGs, the health and well-being for all people, the fact that the elderly have no care, they've been neglected, and so on and so forth. For the investors, you focus more on your traction, your numbers, your subscription, your cost of acquisition, your lifetime value, and stuff like that, your unit economics. But the thing is, fortunately, prior to now, there was a lot riding on the vision of the company. Where can this company get to? They're a startup company, they are going here, but do they show signs of being able to get there? Unfortunately, now, because of the recession, there's still a focus on vision, but it's still more focus on the numbers. Because a lot of people have been born with a lot of good vision and, unicorn status. You now realize they don't have much substance. So in the past, I've gotten away with it. But right now, we'll say vision is, say, like 60%, and then your numbers are 40%. In the past, vision would have been like 80%, how well you can craft and tell your story. But now is much less. So the idea is to understand the customer or the investor, what their focus is, and create your pitch in that line to help them get what they want to hear. You understand that not one pitch is for every investor. The different investors have different things they're focused on, and you lean heavy on it, especially because a pitch, most times, if it's too long, it's 5 minutes. So you better know how you structure that 5 minutes. If it's an impact guy, you focus more on impact. If it's a straightforward investor guy, you focus more on your numbers. And then I was with an investor recently, and there's something he said: be proud about your numbers. Let them understand it's not that you are coming cap in hand. You are doing them a favor by allowing them invest in you. Because most of the time, the money they are investing is not their money. The fact that you can double that money is making them look good for their own investors, because the cash is not theirs. They have what they call limited partners that put money together. So they're always very wary. But they should understand that investing in you will make them look better in front of their own limited partners. So you are not a beggar, you're not appealing to them. You are stating that this is a problem that exists, a large problem that will be solved, and I am the one going to solve it. And since I'm the one that will solve it, I'm the one to make the millions of this business. If you are interested in making money, join me. If not, others will join. You will just have lost. So you have that confidence and not approach like a beggar. The problem many times is that you go cap in hand, like you're kowtowing to them because they have the money, but they need you more because that money they have is useless to them unless they invest in you. The money is not theirs. It was given to them to invest in somebody. So you are the king in this situation. They are not the kings. The moment you understand that and flip the dichotomy, you have more confidence to get your point across and to get them to know you are the person. But as you said earlier on, you must be able to deliver on your promise. So what is your mindset? It's because your product can do what it says it can do. There's no argument about it. So that will be clear in the way you are speaking. You are not, unsure. This is what I'm saying. I will do it. Whether
Yeah.
you give me money or not, I will do it. But then you must have put the track record in place, proven certain things before you go about, saying that. But the key thing to note is that you don't go about like a beggar. You go about like somebody giving them an opportunity. And if you follow the steps in the book already, you would have created the traction already. That's what you go there with. And so with the first stage of attracting customers, you can now go to the investor like a king and not like a beggar.
Awesome. There's so much there that we can unpack, and quite a lot there that we can unpack. I'm looking at the time. We had said that we're going to do this for 1 hour. We have 5 minutes. I trust me, we haven't even cut it. We have not even cut it because I there's so much I want to get to. But let me look at some comments here. Be proud of your numbers. Yes, absolutely. Somebody says try Siremo. but I mean, this is wisdom, really. That's what it is, wisdom. And first things first, so that we don't go too far without doing things that are very important. This book, how can people get the book? If you need to type it in the private chat section and then I post it up, all well and good. You can call it out and I'll have someone, type it in. How can we get the book? Is there a link for it? And, tell us a bit about the book, accessing the book.
Okay. So I think what I'll just do is provide a WhatsApp number you can send a message to. I will have an auto response with all the links. So it's on Amazon, it's on Bamboo Books, on Okada Books. You can get it on Konga and Jumia and the rest of them. But once you send a message to that number, the autoresponder provides all the links you can get the book from. So the number is 0816.
So somebody please start typing 0816. Go on.
1787.
1787.
393.
393. Let's take it again from the top.
0816.
Go on.
1787.
1787.
393.
393. So I'm going to put the
just
number.
Mention that you are from the Connect. Probably might give you some benefit.
Yes. So just mention that you were live with Dr. Ebi on the Connect. So thank you very much, Vianney. 0816 1787 393. Dr. Ebi confirmed that that's the number.
1787. Yes, that's the number.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that on the screen. I'm going to leave it in
the chat section, and maybe I might put the links in the chat section of this video. Exactly.
Okay, yeah, please do as well. This is a great read. It's something that I actually have gone through it. I've read through it twice. Before it was published, the copy was sent to me. I looked through it, and then just yesterday and today, funny enough, guys, and this afternoon, this was my study partner this afternoon, I read the book as well. And I'm saying to myself, this shoe. Dr. Ebi, do we have hard copies available?
So hard copies will be available by Wednesday.
Wow. That's the 3rd of August.
Yes, 3rd of August. Yeah.
All right, so guys, you need the hard copy for your library. Like you can see behind me, you need to have the hard copy there. You need to have the soft copy on your gizmos or your mobile devices or your iPads and laptops and whatever. But you also need the hard copy. So buy the soft copy, buy the hard copy, make it a collector's item. Buy a few numbers, give it out as gifts. All right, read this and read this and this is something that you want to be able to share with as many of your colleagues as possible, as many of your business, as many of your stakeholders as possible. All right. Okay. So, Dr. Ebi, it's 8 o'clock, but let's just see if we can just do a few more minutes just to drop in the final nuggets. Now, if there was supposed to, now there was something you said earlier. You said that this book speaks to every book you've written. You've written it at the point of every experience that you're having. How to attract customers and investors like a magnet, right? Now, what is the no, I don't want to do see I'm being very careful, right, AB, because I also don't want to go too deep into the book. I want people to go and buy it. All right, guys, I want you to go and buy it. Meanwhile, after you've bought it, oh, and you told me from the connect, maybe we'll now do a book review. Okay, AB, can we do that? After a point, maybe I'll give everybody like 2 weeks or a week or something after the anniversary episode, and after maybe like maybe at the last Sunday of August, if Dr. AB's calendar can fit it, we'll come back to do a book review. All right. If I can get a few people to say yes, 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 then I'll invite Dr. AB to come back and we'll do a book review. But the prerequisite to the book review is that you bought the book. All right, is that you bought the book, and I'm not giving you my copy. I'm not going to give you my copy. So the prerequisite is that you buy the book, and then we can come back and do. Maybe we'll start the Connect Book Club. Who knows? Many things can happen in the third year of the Connect. All right. So we'll come back and we'll do the book club. So here's what I'm going to say, Dr. Ebi. Let's have your final take for tonight. Anything you want to leave with the people. If you have questions, type them now so that we can just quickly address them. If you have questions, type them now. Whilst I have Dr. AB just give his final remarks for the night, and then I'll tell you a bit about what next episode will be, and we'll close. Dr. AB.
So the key thing I've learned from this experience is that there are lots of people in need of information that are not able to access it. And so I'm creating a community on Facebook. You can join the group. So you have constant information about the startup ecosystem. Fortunately, last week or so, I saw an article posting myself as one of the top 10 Nigerian startup consultants, which is quite interesting because that's the focus I'm going for. The thing is that there are not many people to talk to about startups. I'm one of the key people to speak with. If you want to launch a tech startup, a tech business, I'm your number one guy in the space now. There are lots of CEOs there, but nobody's coaching others. I will hold you by the hand and get to where you want to go to. So the first step is the book. The second step is join the community called Budding Unicorns on Facebook.
All right.
It's still a bit new, but that's the idea, to get us to be able to learn things faster and not make the mistakes many people are making going forward.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Dr. Ebi is going to share the details of the Facebook group of the community with me. I'm going to share it out to everybody on our different platforms, and then begin. So now we have a two-tier step, right? We have a two-tier to having the book review. Number one, you buy the book. Number two, you join the community. You buy the book, you join the community, and then we'll come back and do a review. And then, of course, you know that getting into the community, remember what we talked about, connections and network and all of that. It exposes you to a whole lot, having the right kind of mentorship. And you know how big I am about mentorship. Someone that is able to hold you meet you where you are. Like I say, three things that you ought to be: a light, a voice, and a bridge. And in many regards, this is who Dr. Ebi is: a light, information; is a voice, guidance; he's a bridge. He creates a platform that connects you. All right. And so this in itself, you can see this real life, all right? LVB, a light, a voice, and a bridge. And when you are part of any community like this, it's not every community I would recommend, right? But when I tell you that this is a community that you need to be part of, either those of you that are live here or those of you that will watch the videos in the course of the week, and we usually have a lot of people come through in the course of the week. Some people are watching Big Brother right now. We understand that. We know that it's fine. We know, all right? It's the same way, Dr. Ebi, when we started this, when the first episode of the Connect, Big Brother was on, and somebody said to me, no, now do it on Saturday. This is 2 years after. I'm glad I didn't move it to Saturday. I'm glad I followed the blueprint that God gave me for it. Otherwise, if this was my idea, I would have packed up a long time ago and gone to do other things. I can be hanging out on Sunday evenings or going to the gym or something, all right? But that's by the way. So please avail the opportunities that are here. Avail the opportunities of being part of our community. I will share details as I get them. Avail the opportunity of accessing the book by buying it. And let's see how that will transform the things that you do, how it shapes your mind as regards your customer acquisition experience and the way that you go about it and the things that help you birth strategy. What is required for you to change from where you are to where you want to be is the unlocking of an idea that allows for execution. Some ideas are not executable. And one of the things that I know that AB is very big on is how to be able to transfer, that stuff you have from the warmth of your mind to the terrains of reality. Then how to be able to now scale up your execution to give you a result that sustains you, which is now the platform for growth. So there must first be a threshold before you come to a differentiating level. All right. So Dr. AB, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this, on this special episode, end of 2 years. All right, closing the 2 year mark on the Connect. Thank you so much. I'm so deeply, deeply, deeply appreciative. Somebody I will always say this. There's a golden era. All right, I read the book by Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers, and they talked about a generation and things that happen in generation. I tell people that there's a generation, there's a golden era that you see doing amazing things in Nigeria. And I've said to many people before that in the same set, in the same class, same sets, in the same school, there was Ebi Ofrey, there was me, there was Jimmy Tewe, and a lot of other people. And I'm really honored. That's how far way back I've known this gentleman, and I'm really honored, to live life with them, to learn from them, to interact with them, to grow with them. It's really been amazing. Dr. Ebi, I want to say massive thank you to share your time, your space. A happy birthday once again to your mom. We celebrate her here on the Connect, and to everybody else that wished her a happy birthday, in the audience. So we're getting comments. Thank you so much, Dr. Ebi. We're getting comments. Thank you so much, Dr. Ebi Vianney. So thank you, Dr. Ebi. To everybody out there, thank you for joining us. We are going to be back on the special anniversary episode in the first Sunday of August. We'll unveil the details in the course of the week. Look out for the flyers that will come out by Wednesday. It promises to be amazing. We already have lined up great people coming in August. And if we do things right, we'll have Dr. AB back at the end of August. But we have for August 14 and thereafter. It's going to be a super month, all right? And to everyone, God bless you for going through the first 7 months of the year. My prayer for you is really very simple, that the remaining months, as you step into the month of August, the remaining months of the year, everything you've ever achieved from January to July will pale in comparison to what you will step into from August to December. God bless everyone. Let's keep connected. See you next Sunday, and God bless you. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
All right, we still have a few comments. And thank you so much, Dr. Ebi. This is just timely and very enlightening. I appreciate the depth of value you share. Thank you, everybody. Keep on appreciating Dr. Follow him. Thank you too. I thank you too as well. You're amazing. Thank you, everyone. Good night. We gotta go.